Hello YouTube, this is Graviton, and to all Metroid fans watching this video, I have something special for you. And this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can play the Metroid Prime Trilogy games in HD using the Dolphin Emulator on your PC. Just follow my steps and instructions, and you'll be able to play the game at 100% emulation speed without performance drops. So, let's get started. First off, you're gonna need the latest version of the Dolphin Emulator, which is 4.06930, and also a copy of the Metroid Prime Trilogy game. You want to go up into your config and make sure in the general tab you have dual core and idle skipping enabled. If you want to use cheats with your games, tick mark this option right here. When it comes to the frame limit, make sure you set it to 60 if you're using an NTSC game, and set it to 50 for if you're using a PAL game, and if you're using a PAL game like I do, and also using a not very powerful PC, set your frame limit to 55. The 5 additional FPS that I've given right here helps to compensate any performance drops that might occur in an area or two, so you don't even feel it. The emulation definitely is fractionally faster, but I think it kind of makes the game a little more exciting. Moving on to the interface, I haven't changed any options right here other than probably the theme, which is absolutely nonsense. You don't really have to change that. We'll move on to the audio. This is really important right here. Make sure your emulator engine is on DSP HLV emulation fast, and your audio backend set to OpenAL and not X-Audio 2. Remember, OpenAL. Once you select OpenAL, enable Dolby Pro Logic 2 decode. Enable its really good sound. Set your latency right here to anything or any even number greater than 4. Set it to 10 if you want to play Metroid Prime Corruption. This helps to reduce any kind of audio crackling in the game. Moving on to the graphics settings, make sure your video backend is set at Direct 3D and not OpenGL. I know Mario Kart uses OpenGL, but for Metroid you need Direct 3D. Make sure your graphics adapter uses the dedicated graphics adapter and not the integrated one. Full screen resolution set to 1080p or whatever your monitor supports is the highest resolution. Make sure you have VSync and full screen enabled. Set your aspect ratio to 16:9. Pretty much obvious, I guess. Moving on to the enhancements, set your internal resolution to auto, which is 1080p as per the full screen resolution, and set anti-aliasing to none. And of course, you can also set it to 3x native if you wish to play it in 1080p. And if you are using a 4K monitor, go ahead and bump it up to 4K, that is 6x native. But you should also have the graphic card that can support a 4K game. Set your anisotropic filtering to 16x. Make sure you have scaled EFB copy, force texture filtering, and widescreen hack enabled. They really help make the game look beautiful. Now, scaled EFB copies does create small minor issues in the bloom effects in Metroid Prime Corruption, but you'll hardly notice it because, trust me, you'll hardly notice it because the rest of it just looks so goddamn beautiful. Now, moving on to the hacks. I haven't really checked any options right here, so you really don't need them unless you have a really slow CPU or GPU. so I'm not using either one of them since they really destroy your graphics settings and the visuals. So yeah, if you want to make your game look bad, go ahead, use hacks. But if you want to make it look beautiful, I advise don't really use hacks other than just these three options right here. Go into advanced and you'll see that I haven't checked any of these options. You don't need anything, just dumping textures, whatever, just might increase a little bit of load on your CPU. You don't want that, clearly. So that is for the graphics settings. Moving on to the controllers settings. Now, for all those who play Metroid with a mouse and who want to play Metroid with a keyboard and mouse, go ahead and follow up these settings. These by far are perhaps one of the most convenient set of controls that I have used for Metroid. You can customize it as per your own convenience. That really doesn't matter too much here. What I do recommend is configuring your nunchuck settings as per this, because as you can see here, the forward, backward, and the shake buttons are all set to the Z plus and Z minus. The Z plus refers to the mouse wheel, the scroll wheel, forward, and backward refers to the mouse wheel going backward or down. So the shake options, you might want to right click on this and detect and say detect and select detect, that's it, and make sure it'll detect axis Z plus and Z minus when you select the scrolls. It's kinda hard getting used to it, but yeah. So when you're using shake for a x-axis, make sure you have it to Z plus and then press and click on Z minus, and do the very same process for all three axes. Press apply and close, and as you can see, all three of them have the same options. Forward is obviously mouse wheel forward, backward is obviously mouse wheel backward. And the reason why I'm recommending you these settings is because of Metroid Prime corruption, where you actually need to pull the nunchuck towards you while using the grapple lasso. So you'll be able to use the grapple lasso by just scrolling your mouse wheel up and down. Trust me, it's really convenient and it's really fun. You will enjoy this experience. Press OK, close this, and right click on your game and go to properties and make sure you have your options displayed like this. Dual core idle skipping, disk transfer rate, and DSP-HLE emulation should be with a tick mark. Others can be with a black dot. If you want to enable cheats, go into Gecko or AR codes. That's it for the configurations in the Dolphin settings. Moving on to slightly advanced stuff. If you're using a laptop CPU like I do, you will notice that when your laptop powers up the GPU, it disables the turbo boost options. So if your CPU says 2.5 GHz with turbo boost up to 3.5 GHz, don't expect your CPU to run at 3.5 GHz when playing the game. It will run at 2.5 GHz, which will cause the game to lag. So if you want to keep the game running at 3.5 GHz, download a software called ThrottleStop 7.0 or 6.0, both will do. ThrottleStop, what this does is that it disables that feature where your CPU goes back to its stock settings. So what you want to do right here is click on set multiplier and set it to your maximum turbo clock. For in my case, which is 35T. 35 refers to 3500. If your turbo is up to 3200, set to 32T. You can't really exceed it beyond that. You'll see. Make sure chipset clock mod is enabled and set at 100%. Next, you want to make sure your temperature and turbo ratio limits are all set at 35 or your maximum turbo speed. If you want, you can overclock it just a little. It's not harmful at all, but I really don't need it. Anything about 3 GHz should be fine. And lastly, you want to go ahead and press on turn on and then click save. Once you have done this, you'll notice that your CPU will go up to its maximum clock speed, in my case again, which is 3.5 GHz, and you can see it's running pretty close to 3.5 GHz. Now, as per your temperatures, I suggest using a laptop cooling pad while using the emulator or ThrottleStop, since it does tend to make the CPU a little hot. 84-86 degrees, acceptable but still quite hot. Oh, and in case you want to use this ThrottleStop with any other software such as any other game such as GTA 5 or Witcher 3, don't even think about it. If you want to use it, make sure you have disabled turbo enabled. Do not play conventional PC games on turbo boost. I repeat again, do not play conventional PC games like GTA 5 and Witcher 3 on turbo boost. Well, that's it, and you're all set to launch Dolphin Emulator. You should be able to play Metroid at a very good frame rate without any performance issues. Well, thanks for watching. Enjoy the gameplay video just ahead.